There aren't many places like this left in Europe, the high plateau wilderness of northeastern Iceland. From the frozen mountains to the sea, this landscape has avoided human exploitation. But the crystal rivers which cross it may soon cease to exist because man has moved in. This is the second largest wilderness area in Western Europe, and the Icelandic government wants to dam these waterways to produce hydroelectricity. It may seem lifeless, but wildlife abounds here, even in the depths of winter. About 3,500 reindeer roam wild. It's a healthy herd, free from the parasites plaguing the European mainland. Winter food is scarce, but when the snow melts, the plateau and its wetlands are an ideal habitat for a variety of mammals. The reindeer give birth along the very valleys in which the government wants to build 11 dams. A planned reservoir will cover about 50 square kilometers. This area, known as Karahnukar, is not a national park, so the few environmental activists in this small country say they're having trouble fighting the proposal. They're angry not just because the hydroelectric project could threaten wildlife, but because it's being built for an aluminium smelter. Among the natural features affected will be this 160-metre deep gorge, which until the surveyors arrived had been seen by few humans. Iceland's planning agency ruled against the dams because of their environmental impact, but that decision was overturned by the country's environment minister. She said the environment would be protected, while biologists like Skarfedin Torresson say the best protection is to leave the place alone. But it's too late. Work has already begun. The biggest dam will be built here, and a huge underground sluice will divert water to a distant lake. Torresson fears the worst.
I don't feel well because I know this land very well. I followed the reindeer here for some years.
On the other side of Iceland, in the capital Reykjavik, the Nature Conservation Association is leading a protest against the dams and aluminium smelter. But it appears to be in a minority.
We think, and I think, that this area is unique worldwide. Geologically speaking, biodiversity for this part of the earth, that far north, the flora, the fauna, and the landscape, the beauty of this area. And we think this will be much more valuable as a national park for Iceland in the long run than will be an aluminium smelter and the power plant.
There are already 2 aluminium smelters near Reykjavik. Aluminium ore, bauxite, is shipped here from India and Australia. Production requires huge amounts of power, so Iceland utilises its bountiful natural resources. This plant, owned by Alcan, is powered by geothermal steam. But back in the northeast, there's no geothermal activity, so hydroelectricity will power the new American-owned Alcoa company smelter. This is Reyðarfjörður on a windswept fjord. Alcoa wants to build its smelter here. A promise by the company to subsidise taxes on residents has earned its proposal almost universal support. The locals say they can see the benefits. At the moment, the only real industry here is fishing. The regional authorities desperately want more business to attract people back. The population has been falling as young people look for work elsewhere. So news of the hydroelectric project is welcomed here, and people don't seem to mind that they'll soon live under twin smokestacks.
It will change, I think, the people will stop moving to the south and will start to move back to the East Iceland again. And of course, we have to use our natural sources. We have to use the power, so the people will get very well off here. I am more worried about the people than the birds. And therefore, it's very important for us to have this project here. I am sure that the birds and the reindeer and so on, they will find them on other places. The water itself, it's just about 50 square kilometers, and that's a very, very little part of the whole list. I am not worried about it. I am more worried about the people who is living here and the people who wants to live here.
Hundreds of kilometres across the sea in Scotland, a flock of Icelandic pink-footed geese enjoys some winter sunshine. They migrate to Britain every year. The flocks support Scotland's tourism industry. Birdwatching is popular here, so British environmentalists are joining the campaign against Iceland's dam and smelter plan. A large proportion of the world's population of these geese breed in the Icelandic wetlands, which will be flooded. Britain's Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, Europe's largest wildlife conservation charity, has accused the Icelandic government of putting wildfowl at risk. It's an unusual move for the society, which normally shies away from controversy. But policy officer Paul Walton says the Icelandic government seems determined to renege on its international conservation commitments by not protecting bird nesting sites. But with dam construction already underway, it seems unlikely that foreign pressure can reverse the process.
Well, of course, the ultimate decisions rest with the Icelandic government, and that's right and proper, but that government is, like the UK and like Scotland, part of international conventions and agreements. For example, the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Convention on European Wildlife. And we can actually help Icelandic conservationists to put pressure on the Icelandic government to fulfil their international conservation responsibilities.
Is that likely?
Well, we think there's a chance because for these developments, we think there are really clear and obvious alternative routes for the government to go down. You've got to remember that these really are some of the very best wildlife habitats, wildlife sites in the whole of Iceland.
The geese are now on their way north again, about to cross the Atlantic back to the northeastern highlands of Iceland. For the next few years, their lives will be the same as they have been for millennia. Only when the hydroelectric project is completed will scientists truly know what has been lost.